What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. I've been meaning to make this video for a while now. I've just been getting worked on this particular P01, but making a video on the CZ 75 P01, specifically the Omega version, and we are clear. But I've been meaning to make this video for a while now. Oh man, that sucked. My bad. But I've been meaning to make this video for a while now. Man, I love this gun. And a lot of people ask me a lot of questions about it. I believe it's a super underrated and underrepresented gun. I think it should be more. I want to see more builds on YouTube for P01s. I want to see more P01 fanboys out there. And I want to see the P01 represented by a bigger crowd. These guns are beautifully made. I mean, as you can see, take a second here to appreciate the craftsmanship. These things are beautiful. This was optic cut by CZ Custom, their plate system. But yeah, love this thing. Illustration there, rubber grips. These are the OEM ones, and I'm running it with the manual safety. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So one of the first things that turns people off to the P01 is probably the whole double action, single action thing. Now, double action, single action to me is like the word gluten to a lot of people. They just don't know what it is. And simply put, double action, all that it means is that when you pull the trigger does two things. First, it cocks the hammer, like pulling a string. And then it releases the hammer to shoot a bullet, essentially. Single action means that when you pull the trigger, it only does one thing. It releases the already cocked hammer to shoot. So basically, in other words, double action just means that the trigger does two jobs, while single action means the trigger does one job. So when you initially pull it, the trigger is in double action, and it has that long double action pull. And then once the slide goes back, hammer is cocked. It puts you in single action, which gives you the short, crisp single action. So that's all that is. Now, double action, single action may affect you more or less depending on how you like to carry your gun. I have the Omega edition. I like to carry my gun cocked and locked, so I have the manual safety on there. You do have the option to have the manual safety or the decocker. All the decocker does essentially is, instead of this manual safety here, there'll be another button that you click it and it decocks the hammer forward and it goes back to double action. People like to carry it that way because it's probably tied with the safest way to carry a gun, in my opinion. So which the first way is you put your magazine in, you rack one, there's one in the chamber, the hammer is cocked, you decock it, hammer goes forward, you're back in double action, and then you carry it like that. You have that long double action pull, so you don't have to worry about it getting snagged on anything. Plus, it pulls the hammer back as well, so it's relatively safe to carry it that way. Second tied safest way to carry, in my opinion, which is hammer back, safety on, trigger disengage, and you carry it that way. It's like a 1911. So I carry it this way. I'm more comfortable this way. I have more training with carrying it this way. My SP01 has a manual safety. I carry a lot of 1911s. So I'm used to it carrying it this way. But for you, you may want the decocker. So the decocker comes in the regular P01 model. So it doesn't come with the manual safety. So if that's you, you can just get the regular one. But you don't get the Omega trigger when you get the regular P01. If you don't mind carrying it with a manual safety, you can get the Omega version, and then you get the option of either or. So that's the first thing people get turned off by, is that double action, single action. The second thing will probably be the slide. CZ, they do the whole inverted slide system. So you get a lot less slide to grab on. So you press check heroes out there. I mean, you can press check. It's not as easy as it would if you were press checking, a Glock or something like that. So, and not only that, racking the slide back can be difficult if you have an optic, like I have an optic on here. So, using the traditional way to rock it back like that may be kind of annoying to you. So you can do it from the front, which works, or I use my optic all the time. So that's another thing that may turn people off, is that slide. But again, a pro to the whole inverted slide thing is felt recoil is I mean, it's there, but it's not really there. If you have a firm grip and you have the fundamentals down, you're gonna have a blast shooting this gun, because there's not a lot of muzzle flip because of the way they did the whole inverted rail thing. And then you have a lot more frame to grab onto, and it absorbs a lot of that recoil, and it's people say the gun shoots flat. This gun shoots flat. As a matter of fact, this gun shoots like a full-size gun, which is why I say that it shoots above its class. So the slide may be another thing. So press checking may be annoying, so it may turn people off. So that's the second thing. Third thing will probably be the fact that these do not come optic ready. I had to get this cut. So I wish CZ would come out with these cut, because they would be very, very popular, but they don't. You can get it cut. CZ custom to this one. I'm getting one cut by Impact here very soon. They do a good job. Frank Castle works. They are another good company. Basically, vet the company that you're looking to get an optic cut from, because my opinion on optic cuts is that it shouldn't take 6 months. It shouldn't take 3 months, 9 months, whatever weeks to cut the slide. It shouldn't. There's plenty of companies that do it in 2 weeks or less with excellent prices and excellent work. So you don't have to sacrifice that time. If you do that, that's your choice. Maybe you want to support that company. But if it takes more than 2 weeks, I'm probably not going to give that business my money, because to me, it's kind of unacceptable. It can be done faster, and it's been proven to be able to be done faster. So vet the company you're doing, you're going to send your slide to. These things are not cheap. So that's the third thing, is they don't come optic cut. The last thing would probably be the fact that this is a metal gun. Now, it's aluminum, but it's still a metal gun. But again, the pro to that is that it helps with the whole recoil, keeping the gun flat. And it's, fully loaded, it's probably 4 ounces heavier than a Glock 19, which may be felt, it may be a lot to some people, but to me, it's a non-starter. After a while, you don't even notice the whole weight thing. And it's even a plus when you decide to carry one of your polymer guns. It's like you're carrying clouds, because you're so used to carrying this. Now, the things that I love about the P01, the ergonomics. CZ, when it comes to ergonomics, they're second to none. Nobody does it like CZ. You can argue with your mama. Nobody does ergonomics like CZ. When anybody that shoots this gun, anybody that I go to the range with that decides that they want to shoot this gun, they get hands on this, they immediately say, I love the way it just melted. You become one with this gun. Now, I have these with the rubber grips. I enjoy the rubber grips. I live somewhere that gets hot and humid. My hands sweat, and it does a good job of giving me nice grip to hang on to when I'm shooting. Now, I prefer palm swell, so now I have these OEM ones on here, but you'll see me change these to the ones that have the palm swell from Lock Grips. I really like those, so I'll probably be rocking those more when it comes spring and summertime, so you'll see those. But for now, I have these OEM ones on here. So the ergonomics are great. When it comes to shootability, this thing is a dream to shoot. I mean, it's like Cadillac. Smooth as hell. Smooth to shoot. Excellent triggers. Again, the whole double action, single action thing. And again, here's the thing about the whole double action thing. A lot of people are scared of the double action because, let's say you're carrying it like with the hammer down and you're in double action, one in the hammer. When they're shooting it, they overcompensate because they think that, okay, this is a very heavy pull, so let me just dry fire practice, and then they're doing this and they're doing that, and they practice that way. So when they get into the range and they start shooting, they shoot the first one, and okay, that's fine. But when it gets into the single action, they're doing the same thing. They're jamming it back. Their shots are going all over the place, and you eventually stabilize, I would hope. But having to restabilize isn't the goal. Those are just bad habits. How I was taught to do it was to roll the trigger, to roll that pull. Or is it roll the trigger or roll the pull? I don't remember how. But you roll the trigger, yeah. And you stay calm and you'll be just fine. It gets into single action. You're able to, if you're calm and you roll the trigger properly, you're able to get off your second and third shots and you're still in single action, get busy doing work. Now, one thing to remember is that the reset is always the same, whether you're in double action or single action. So as long as you stay calm and collected, you roll that trigger, you don't tense up, the reset is always the same, you're going to be just fine. So it's nothing to really be scared about. I prefer double action, single action triggers after training a bunch with them. It really becomes a non-issue. Now, as far as the finish and the quality and reliability of the gun, CZ does a great job with their finish. I love their finishes. Now I have some wear on mine. I'm probably gonna get this Cerakote job done here soon, but I love the finish. It's a great quality finish. The quality parts that CZ uses are great. I've never had shit break on any of my CZs. I know it happens, but I've never had it happen. And the quality and craftsmanship is amazing. I really dig it. No complaints there. Everybody knows that. You know, CZ does a great job. Now, as far as carrying it every day, I think it's a great EDC gun. You get enough hours behind the trigger. You do enough practice and you put the practice in. This is a great firearm. Again, it shoots above its class. And I believe it's a great choice as far as a carry gun. I'm rocking it with no irons, and I learned a lot from having no irons. This is the first gun I ever carried and practiced and shot with that didn't have backup irons, and I was just strictly relying on the red dot. And I've gotten a lot better at acquiring the dot and the dot appearing exactly where it needs to be. I don't know if it's because the irons are distracting. I'm still figuring that out. You know, it's a learning experience. But when I go back to my guns that do have backup irons and I'm running that 1/3 co-witness, I notice that the irons completely disappear. I don't even notice them that they're there, which is what it's supposed to be like. So if you're having issues with that, I definitely recommend ditching irons and then practicing dot acquisition and target acquisition with just the dot. Getting really good at that. And another thing that helps is the wrist. So making sure that your wrist is the way that it's supposed to be. No limp wrist. Don't do anything funny with the wrist. Make sure that it's straight the way it's supposed to be. And then don't how do I say this? The way you would squeeze the gun when you're shooting is the way you should squeeze the gun when you're dry firing and when you're doing dot practice, trying to acquire the dot, because having a loose grip will affect where the dot appears and where you see it. And you're going to see that difference when you're doing it for real, when you're shooting, and when you're just dry firing. You'll notice. So get some time in doing that, and it's great. And then go back to having those 1/3 co-witness, because then the irons won't even be there like it's supposed to be. At least in my opinion, that's how it happened for me. So I'm digging rocking it with no irons. I'm gonna leave it like this. I have a second P01 that I am rocking with irons and an optic. I'll do a video on that, but for now, this is my go-to and loving every second of it. So if you're on the fence about getting a P01, I definitely recommend for you to do that. This is one of those keeping forever type of firearms. I'm never parting ways with this. This is staying with me forever, and I'm digging every second of it. I really enjoy the CZs because you can fine tune the firearms to your liking. If you want a shorter reset, you can do that. If you want a lighter double action pull, you can do that. You can fine tune this like a race car to your specifications, and you won't run into reliability issues if done right. I've never run into anybody that had reliability issues with their CZs. And you have great aftermarket support. Cajun Gun Works does a good job. CZ Custom is good. There's a lot of companies that focus just on CZ that will be able to help you if you needed the help. So can't recommend this gun enough. Can't rave about this gun enough. If you're on the fence, I say do it. And yeah, just wanted to get on here and show you guys my P01, talk about it a little bit more, and share some thoughts with y'all. That's all I had today. I'm not going to keep you guys longer. Let me know if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns. in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers. Crazy. I appreciate the love and the support. Thank you for watching my videos. Definitely have more coming this year. And yeah, love you guys. See you guys on the next one. Peace.